to a Cuadrilla fracking site in Blackpool. Thank you for joining us bright and early this morning. Did you resonate with anything that Andy was saying there in terms of the sort of local community's response when Cuadrilla were fracking near you?
Yeah, I can. The NIMBY element, I can see that, and I've seen that, but there was a lot of out-of-area protesters that seemed to descend on the site and start banging the drum, making out that they were local residents, and there was a lot of local resistance. That wasn't really the case. Friends of the Earth, Greenpeace, Extinction Rebellion, even the Labour Party descended and used this as some kind of a beat for their drum that they could score points on, for want of better words.
And so do you personally have any objections then to fracking, or did you notice any of these earth tremors that were being described?
No, I've had no problems. I've talked to a lot of people that there's been no problems with this, and I even asked Cuadrilla for a site visit. I went and visited the site and shown around the site. The water boreholes that could be examined by the Environmental Agency. There was no problems whatsoever. I even, as part of my research, visited Gonzales in Texas, which is ringed by hundreds, if not thousands, of shale oil and gas sites. Talked to the residents there and asked them, was there water contamination, air pollution, tremors or earthquakes, as they call them, just small seismic events, and they had no problem at all. And the thing that struck me was that the people of Gonzales, Texas, were telling me that their energy bills were actually half that of the rest of America. And I think that's something the government should push forward with, to bring down energy bills. And really I should be sat now talking to you guys, talking about the energy bills halving, not doubling, and then they're going to go up again in October. You know, when the environmentalists talk, they should be using the most environmental way of achieving, you know, gas security in the UK, and that's not LNG tankers. We're all using frack gas from the States now in LNG tankers. We're using shale gas.
Yeah, we are using shale gas, and the situation is we either frack our own or we import it, because we're still dependent on it.
A huge environmental and financial cost that we're all going to be paying for. It's complete insanity.
Well, the government have commissioned this survey, haven't they? The Royal Geological Survey is going to carry out a risk assessment, and obviously they're far more qualified than we are to determine whether or not the water quality is affected or anything like that, and it'll be really interesting to see what they conclude. As Andy was saying there, that there's 10 years of experience to draw on from the States, but the comparisons there are always, I think, quite different, because where they actually frack in the States are often big open spaces without sort of compact communities that you see around the Blackpool area. And do you ever think that, you know, it just doesn't really work in a small country?
Well, I disagree there, because Gonzales is roughly about 7,000 people, and that's the same as Kirkham, where I live. And the other side of it is the actual depth of the beds. So it's going to be octopus drilling, so it's along and horizontal, whereas a lot of vertical wells, and it's that visual representation you see in the States that people you know, are very aware of and frightened of. And I don't blame them for being frightened, but I've obviously been to the site and had it explained to me. This is going to be subterranean manifolds, so there'll be no visual impact. It'll just be a manhole cover. So, you know, if you want to, you know, industrialise the countryside, then fill it with, you know, solar panels that you've imported from China that are manufactured using slaves, Uyghur slaves. That's the truth of the matter.
Well, it's very interesting you actually getting airtime, because I don't switch on any TV station and hear people who are local residents being able to say, fracking, what's the problem? And, you know, for people who actually believe that it's going to create earthquakes, like tectonic plates are going to move. I mean, you're laughing. I absolutely am staggered that people take these concerns seriously. You know, what it takes to create an earthquake, they should go to an earthquake site and say, that's an earthquake, this is a rumble vibration. I mean, basically, fracking was banned in 2019 based on one single incident which lasted under 3 seconds, right? That produced surface tremors at a level half that deemed safe for construction. Apparently it was the equivalent to dropping something like a basketball on the ground and then measuring that.
I think the villain of the piece is Sir Ed Davey, who pushed for this traffic light system. No other industry that creates a seismic event is so restricted. And he even said a couple of years ago he was proud of the fact that he's managed to stop this industry. Well, I bet he's not proud now, and I'm sure the Liberal Democrats won't thank him for this, you know, when this gets dragged up again.
You know, Simon, there we've got Liz Truss going round saying we've got to stop this dependence on Russian oil and gas. They're all complicit. They all signed up to it. They all allowed it to happen. Now they're all wetting their pants as to what to do next.
I think it was cheap and lazy, the amount, especially Germany, getting a sweetheart deal on the price of the gas that they actually imported. And talking about Nord Stream 2, there was even talking about Nord Stream 3. And the idea that Kwasi Kwarteng now is going to push forward with more solar panels, wind turbines, and rely on rare earth metals that are predominantly from China. You know, if we've seen trouble now in Eastern Europe with a certain amount of reliance on, you know, Russian gas and Russian oil, what are we going to be talking about in 10 years from now when we're relying on China for the rare earth metals, solar panels, the lithium, the car batteries? It opens a whole new Pandora's box, in my opinion.
Well, that side of the argument controls the media. That's who the media responds to, and that's who they listen to. And if you don't listen to them, you're seen as unreasonable. Do you see yourself as an unreasonable man?
Yeah.
End of.
You don't need to say anymore.
Yeah. How many people think like you? Do you think the mood is changing on fracking?
Yes, I think there was a survey recently, I think it was in The Sun, that there's more people, a lot more people now that, you know, recognise the need for the shale gas. And I think the thing is, as people start to open their energy bills, and unfortunately, no matter what Kwasi Kwarteng does today, these energy bills are going to go up again in October. You know, I think the people you've got to look at, the silent majority, millions of people in fuel poverty, especially in the Blackpool area, and millions of people will join those people. And not only will it affect those people, but obviously it's a case of industry that are going to bear the brunt of this. And I think you mentioned about the prices of these things. It's going to affect so many things. Energy is the cornerstone of our democracy and our way of life.